Welcome to The Explainer. In this series, we love to explore all the incredible creatures that share our planet. And today we are going way up, high into the Himalayas, to meet what I can only describe as a true avian gem, the spectacular Himalayan Monal.
Okay, let's just jump right in with a sight that honestly takes your breath away. This is the Himalayan Monal. You might also hear it called the Danfei or the Impayan Monal. I mean, just look at that explosion of color, especially against that stark mountain landscape. It's so easy to see why people call it a living jewel.
So what is it that makes this bird one of the most iconic in the entire Himalayan range? Well, it really all comes down to its absolutely stunning appearance. Let's break it down and see what makes this bird such a showstopper.
Now get this, the male's plumage isn't just colorful, it's iridescent. And what that means is the colors actually shift and shimmer depending on how the light hits them. It creates this unbelievable, dazzling rainbow effect that is absolutely designed to command attention.
Okay, so let's look at the specifics that create this incredible effect. You've got that long metallic green crest, all those shades of blue and purple on the body, that rich coppery back, and then there's this feature that's just so dramatic when it's in flight, a brilliant snow-white patch right on its rump.
So, okay, if the male is this vibrant, walking work of art, what about the female? Well, as you're about to see, she has a very, very different look, but her role is just as important.
This huge difference in appearance? It's a classic example of something called sexual dimorphism. And it's all about two things, survival and reproduction. The male's job is to attract a mate, right? So he gets the flashy outfit. But the female's job is to incubate the eggs and, crucially, stay hidden from predators. So her more subdued, brownish-black feathers, they provide the perfect camouflage.
All right, let's switch gears and talk about where this spectacular bird actually calls home. And as you can probably guess, its habitat is every bit as dramatic as its appearance. You see, the Monal is a true high-altitude specialist. It's literally the pride of protected areas like the Great Himalayan National Park, and it even holds the prestigious title of the state bird of Himachal Pradesh. That right there tells you just how culturally important it is in the region. And when we say high altitude, we mean it. We're talking about a range between 2,500 and 4,000 meters. To put that in perspective, that's roughly 8,000 to over 13,000 feet up. This is a world of rugged, remote, and often totally unforgiving terrain, where only the absolute hardiest creatures can make a living. And what's amazing is that even within that high-altitude zone, the Monal is incredibly adaptable. You can find it across all sorts of landscapes, from open alpine meadows and steep grassy slopes to the edges of dense coniferous and oak forests. Each one of these places offers its own unique set of challenges and opportunities. But maybe the most impressive thing about this bird is its resilience. I mean, despite the harsh conditions and the heavy winter snow, the Monal has this remarkable tolerance. It's often seen using its powerful beak to dig right through the snow just to get at the roots, tubers, and other little invertebrates hidden underneath. Okay, so let's dive a little deeper into how the Monal actually spends its days. What's on the menu for this bird, and what does its family life look like in such a challenging environment? Well, for starters, the Monal is mostly a ground-dwelling bird. It spends most of its time foraging around, using that really strong curved beak as the perfect tool to dig through leaf litter and soft soil. It's on the hunt for a pretty varied diet of roots, tubers, seeds, insects, and grubs. Now, while you'll often see them in pairs during the breeding season, Monals have a totally different social life in the colder months. They form these large flocks. They're called coveys, and they all roost together. This behavior is a huge advantage. It helps them conserve warmth, and of course, there's always safety in numbers. So let's break down their breeding cycle, which usually kicks off around April. The males, of course, put on those spectacular displays to attract a mate, and after that, the females get to work, creating simple little nests right on the ground. Then, after about 27 days of incubation by the female, a new generation of Monals is ready to hatch, and the whole cycle of life in the high Himalayas continues. All right, so let's talk about the Monal's significance beyond just its incredible beauty and the really important ongoing efforts to protect this mountain icon. This quote right here really reveals the kind of pressure this species has been under. For generations, those magnificent crest feathers were a prized status symbol. And that, of course, led to some pretty heavy hunting.
until legal protections were finally put in place back in 1982. So where does the Monal stand today? Well, here's a quick snapshot. Globally, its population is stable enough to be listed as least concern on the IUCN Red List. But that's not the whole story. Locally, it's a different picture. In India, for example, it has Schedule I status under the Wildlife Protection Act. That is the highest level of legal protection you can get. And that's because it still faces really serious threats from habitat loss and illegal hunting.
You know, the Monal's importance goes way beyond just biology. It's a powerful cultural icon. It's deeply woven into the folklore, the art, and the very identity of Himalayan communities. So when you talk about protecting this bird, you're also talking about protecting a vital piece of that rich cultural heritage.
And all of this brings us to our final and maybe most important question. In a world with ever-increasing pressures on our wild spaces, how do we make sure that future generations get to witness this mountain marvel? It's a question that isn't just about saving one single species, but really, it's about preserving the incredible wonder and biodiversity of the high Himalayas for everyone, for generations to come.